Dr. Tom, first, you've been on the launch of so many great careers in this business for different personalities and different type of individuals. Is there anything unifying in all the different wrestlers that you've seen reach success that was kind of one quality that you look for that kind of determines success?
I think the quality that any coach looks for, or any teacher, anybody that wants or is looking to get success from students is passion, desire. I'll take passion over perfection any day of the week. And I think it all runs in that same vein of passion, desire, and commitment as well. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to have confidence as well. So I think confidence, passion, and desire.
Have you seen, and you've trained all kinds of different folks through different disciplines. You've had original wrestlers, you've had people with no wrestling background at all come in and kind of pick this up. What works best? Is it natural talent? Is it raw desire?
Again, I will take passion over perfection any day of the week, and I don't know that you have to have talent, no doubt. You have to have talent. We talk about the 10,000 hour rule. You can have all that stuff. You can have the experience behind you, but you have to have talent. Just because you've done something for a long time doesn't mean you're going to be that great at it unless you work at it. And you really do have to work at it. Especially professional wrestling is one of those businesses, one of those art forms that you do have to practice and you do have to get great at it. And the ones who really study and the ones who are dedicated enough are the ones who are the great ones.
You touched on that debt to the mat that you have to pay before you get there. Do people going into this business, do they understand just how difficult it is to make what you do in the ring look seamless?
There are some people who do understand what it takes to make what we do in the ring look really, really good, but there's others who don't catch on so quick, but later on do become stars. So the example I can give you is the Bella twins, Nikki and Bree. They didn't have a clue when they came to us in Tampa, but eventually they learned and they did the dedication part, and they worked hard to become stars.
From your standpoint, that has to give you an enormous sense of pride, especially with these success stories, when you see this raw ability finally translate into what you get. Is there a proudest story for you?
I got to tell you, everybody I've ever had the opportunity to coach has made me proud just by the fact that they've stepped in the ring and they've done the work. We have a guy in Knoxville, Tennessee right now, one of the guys that just came out of our JPWA school, the first class, by the name of Dylan McQueen. Had some raw talent, but also was one of those unbridled talents that you have to kind of pull back in and say, wait just a minute, knock it down a notch. But he's one of those guys who has the passion. May not be the most technical wrestler in the world, but he has that passion. He's a performer, he's an entertainer. He's one of those people who's authentic enough that he has to just go out and be him. And that's what makes me so proud when we were able to tell him to turn the volume up, go out and don't be a character, just be you, be authentic, be real, and you're going to get the reaction we're looking for.
There was a character on the TV show The Sopranos named Hesh, and he was an old music producer. And the storyline was he could hear the first few notes of a song, and he knew instantly, regardless of genre or era, if that was going to be a hit. Can you see that, Tom, when you get somebody in just from the get-go, that they either are going to get there or not?
Well, I tell you, there's been a couple people where you had an idea they would get somewhere, and then they kind of fizzled out. Then the others that you're not quite so sure about have really surprised us. So as a coach, you can always have your hopes and dreams for this person and say, man, that guy's going to be great. But I really here's what I really enjoy the most, is seeing the one who has to struggle and work through it and not give up and not get it easy, and then all of a sudden just surprise you and go out and knock everybody's socks off. Because that then says something, I think, about the whole experience of not only coaching, but getting in there and being coached and listening and following some of the direction and finding out that what we say and what we tell them to do actually works.
People finding their lives paths always fascinates me. How did you get to be the guru?
I don't know that I am the guru. I really, really don't, man. I mean, I hear all this great stuff, but all I know is that when I talk to somebody or I'm coaching somebody, I know how I respond. Some people need a kick in the butt, some people need a pat on the back, and there's not too much distance between each. You got to figure out who needs what and when, and I don't always make the right decision. But the thing is, I know how much I loved wrestling. I know how much it meant to me, and when some of these guys come in, I can look in their eyes, I can get that feeling and get that vibe to know that they want the same thing. So How do I respond when somebody yells at me? Not very good. Do I respond better when you're going to give me a little path to follow and stay with me along that path? Okay, maybe so. And that's what I try and do. If you get discouraged along the way, I'm going to help you. I'm going to incite you. I'm going to encourage you. But if you give up on me, why should I stick with you? Show me you want it, and I promise you I'm going to help you get there.
Coaching is coaching in whatever discipline it is.
Right.
If you were in sales, it would kind of be almost the same vibe. You ever think about that, just the unique path that your life has taken with this, you touched on it, this passion that wrestling you had to kind of fill this niche?
I was so lucky to be able to fill this niche. I was so lucky to even get the opportunity to find out I could coach. You don't know if you can coach until you coach. You really don't. I mean, everybody can say, I'll be a great coach. What's a great coach? I think a great coach is somebody who at least you have the confidence in that they can instill confidence back in you. And I really do believe that with not just wrestling, but any forms of entertainment or sport or whatever endeavor in life you want, you have to have confidence. Do you find it in yourself? Will somebody come along the way and help you? Because that's what happened to me. Somebody helped me get there. And I know what that's like. So I was fortunate enough to be given the opportunity and then be able to follow through with it for the past few years. Trust me, there's better coaches out there. There's better places out there. But I know what I'm doing, and it's been proven.
This fascinates me because this is what I wanted to ask you from the get start, and this was my big question for you. You're basically working with millennials now, and people talk about the change in generation and the change in persona and the change in who we are as a culture. Is it all the same? Do you notice that? Because I've heard different things from coaches and teachers in education, just dealing with a different kind of person these days.
Well, I think communication is the key. Connection is the key. Yes, millennials are millennials, but I was a millennial. I'm not a millennial once, but I was that age once. I understand that. And if anybody's made the mistakes that were to me made, it was me. I made every mistake you could make. But I do believe communication is the key. Can I relate to somebody who's 20 years old? Well, I was 20 years old in a different time, a different era, but I still love the same business. Has it changed? Of course. But here's what hasn't changed. If I can get through to you by explaining there is no right way, there is no wrong way, there's this way, there's my way. The right way and the only way does not exist. There's nothing written in stone or etched in stone that says this is the only way to coach, this is the only way to teach, and this is the only way to learn professional wrestling. That does not exist. So I can give you through my experiences what's worked the best. I can tell you what the fundamentals of the business are. And I can give you a good, solid foundation. And hopefully, if you'll listen to me and give me the opportunity, I'll fill you in on the way it works. What we do in the ring is really that much of what counts. It's about life. Life's a work, life's a game. You have to learn how to play it. It's communicating with others outside the ring, even more so than it is inside the ring. And I explain that as we go along. You can be the greatest wrestler in the world, but if you have a horrible attitude, nobody's going to want to touch you. Nobody wants to deal with that. Again, that goes back to passion over perfection, because if you're the greatest and you can do everything great, but you're a pain in the neck to work with, I don't want you. I don't want anything to do with you. But that's anywhere you go, any business, any opportunity. Attitude is the most important part.
Seeing somebody bridge that gap, is that still as satisfying for you now as it was at the outset?
Oh my God, yes. I'm so satisfied to see somebody get it and the light turns on and figure. I've had guys who've had bad attitudes. I've had guys who didn't get it. And I've sat down and told them exactly why they were on the path they were on right now and what they needed to do to change. Some took a turn, some kept going. So yeah, that's extremely satisfying to finally see the guys who get it and understand having a bad attitude is detrimental to not only their career but their life, and that helps that helps instill confidence in me too, that I can help them.
Last one for you. You
Sure.
seem pretty non-affected by it all, but I think you at least know the reputation you have.
Of course.
That's a legacy, and we all, to some degree, think about legacy. That's a proud legacy for you. You know, it sort of further in than you are at closer to the end to the beginning.
Right.
What does that mean to you?
Gosh, you know what? Here's the thing. All I ever wanted to do was wrestle. All I ever wanted to do was just be in the wrestling business and wrestle. Again, when I got the opportunity to be a coach and I found out I could actually do it, I was so happy, because that is another part of the business. I am closer to the end than I am the beginning. So it's not that I'm unaffected, it's just that I'm realistic. I know what I know, but there are times that I see coaches that know so much, know so many better techniques or different ways of going about it. And I'll watch and I'll listen and I'll see how they communicate. And I try to steal the good stuff. I throw a lot of stuff against the wall and keep what works. So I'm happy and I'm proud, don't get me wrong, but I'm also not going to be the guy coming in and say, hey, I know everything, because I don't know everything. I know some things. I know a few things. And there's other people who know more than me, maybe. But I also feel I can communicate and I can help the wrestling business to this day go forward.
Great job.
Thank
sir.
you,
I
man.
enjoyed it, man.